You're still watching The Breakfast Show on Nile International, and now it's time for our second segment, which is very interesting because we're going to talk about school time, because school is back, and some kids are happy with that or excited, but I think that most kids are nervous and they don't want to go back to school, and because summer is over, so they don't want to go back to school. Actually, right now we're pleased to have with us Mr. Hussein Fahmi, the human development expert, who will talk to us about the role that should be played by both the teachers and the parents. So we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Now, not only, as Yasmin said, are students nervous going back to school first year, at beginning of the year, new grade, new friends, and so forth, but also families get nervous a little bit because usually at this part of the world, getting ready for an academic year is always associated with buying bags, pencil cases, books, and so forth. But how can really family be ready for the new academic year to help their children, give them a boost or to lift up their spirits a little bit? How can they do that?
Yeah, part of being ready for the first day of the school, part of it depends on the school itself, because they do sometimes an opening day where parents and their children have the opportunity to get introduced to the teachers and the system and the classrooms. How are they? Some schools do that. And if not, then the role of the parents with the children is to prepare them psychologically for such a thing. And doing so comes through a conversation that you're going to your first day of school. You will have friends. You will enjoy your time. So it's very important that the parents give this image about the school, that they will have an opportunity to not only learn, but also sometimes for joy, new friends, expect that, and prepare them for any what will happen if I need help, or if I'm sick, what will I do? Answer all these questions with them, arrange with the school itself. But most international schools, for example, do that. They have an opening day at the beginning, so that's to introduce the teachers.
It's a free day.
A free day to go through the campus and see the facilities. So this breaks the ice, and students may in this day also play with other children or other students.
And they feel comfortable.
Yeah, they feel comfortable. So this is very important, the orientation itself.
So about the students themselves, what they should do psychologically in order to be prepared for the first day?
For the student, if they are at a younger age, they won't be able to do this for themselves. They will need their parents to guide them for something like that. For all the students, they need to just to have a plan, what they want to do, what's their expectation, and what they want to achieve this year. So they have to go with this attitude of discovery, being playful, and I will learn, I will enjoy my time. So to have good expectations about the beginning, because this is very important. Big this, the school plays a role, because if the school system and the educational system and the management inside the school have a culture of openness, and where there is an experiential learning, for example, and things like this, this will let the students have ease with the system.
Now, speaking of how younger children would need more care, let's talk about how this is treated according to different educational stages, whether it's kindergarten, primary, elementary, or secondary or high school, preparing students at these different stages by the families. What is the most crucial stage or critical stage that needs more effort and time? When can a student be independent on himself and he's already oriented to the new academic years and so forth?
Yeah. So as a child, my parents at the beginning tend to help me when I was young, and then the parents' role now is to help the child to be independent somehow as he grows, by giving him the chance to do his homework alone. Just watch him to see him if he's doing the right thing or not. So building this independence inside the child is very important, and also most parents tend to fall in this mistake when they give commands to their children. You have to do the homework, you have to do this and this and this. Before I tell him do this, tell him why he should do this. Let him understand why this is important for him. So he would do it even though you're not sitting with him. Because if you go away from him and you're not available during the homework time, he may watch TV, he may do something. He will not have this attitude of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important for the student to understand why he's doing this, why he's studying, or what's his purpose from this. What does it mean to be a good student? So
you have to understand first.
Yes, you have to connect with him and tell him why this is important.
Mm-hmm. So, sir, with the new government systems now being implemented in all fields, do you expect any ways or conditions in education in the coming period which could affect the new school year?
Well, my expectation is not so high, because education itself as a system needs some time in order to improve. So if we have an incremental change because of a new government in the educational system, this change will not show within maybe a year. Maybe it needs 5 years in order to see the improvement. We cannot judge now if there is a real improvement or not nowadays, because many things are going now, and when there is a system changing, there is a change in any system, you need to give it some time in order to see if this is working or not. You cannot judge it from the beginning.
Yes, although, sir, I agree with you very much in what you're saying in terms of how educational system that is changing each time for it to be fixed. Yet I'm also concerned with the students themselves and their parents' lack of monitoring their children throughout the academic year, where they don't have much time to sit with them and speak with them on not only how important it is to start going to school but and to study, but to respect the teachers as well, and to respect the regulations and school rules, which seems to disobedience is widely spread not only among public or moderate schools, but they also escalate as you go up higher to elite schools as well. How can parents be able to control that and teach their children to respect the teachers and monitor their children throughout the academic year?
Because, you know, I can realize the difference between when we were students and now when I look at the students and the way they treat their teachers and parents.
Dramatically. I mean, we were always in very good schools, but we used to respect teachers, we used to fear regulations, we used to fear punishment. Students now seems to lack all that.
They don't fear anything.
They don't fear anything, and it's all because of the parents who are not putting obedience in order at home. How
this
can
is
that
a real
be?
challenge, and many people are facing this challenge. As a coach, I face this problem with many parents and even my children. Okay, but when I came to think about it, most in summertime or in holiday and vacations, what are the children are doing? They're watching TV, they're watching cartoon, they're playing PlayStation or whatever. When you notice these things that they are exposed to, they're full of violence. Even the cartoons now, it's full of violence, and the PlayStation thing it's all about violence and being rebellion and disobedience. So for example, I was watching one of the cartoons, and it's the language itself was not respectable at all, and they use violence and things like this. So this goes into the subconscious mind of the child and becomes the programs that he operates from during his life. When we were children, we were not exposed to such media, to such violence being...
Tom and Jerry basically was the only maybe violent cartoon we used to... violent cartoon
Actually,
we
it's
used
not
to
violent
watch.
compared to what...
Exactly. So So when we talk about shutting off the TV and not watching TV or not watching the cartoons, what will the children do? So this is a real challenge. I was thinking about getting some cartoons in a CD-ROM when I know this material has no violence, the language is appropriate, and it has a message, it has values. So in order to put it and for them to watch it, for example, and monitoring how they are using the internet, for example, things like this.
But that's at home.
Yeah.
Then there's an outer world space.
Yeah.
And if my son goes to school and he does not watch the latest cartoon that everybody else is watching, they'll start making fun of him, and they'll start telling him how come, and he'll be isolated, and then he's going to go into some psychological problems. That's the problem now, because if you monitor at home, you can't monitor your kid outside the house.
Exactly. So fellowship and his friends will also affect his behavior.
Sure.
And this is another external thing that we need to control it.
I think it's a circle.
So I think
Homeschooling, I think, is the best option at this
I
stage.
think that the school itself plays a role. Parents plays a role. It's a whole system. We cannot only focus and rely on the parents only. The school itself also has to do and play a big role in this. There has to be some classes talking about values and respecting elders and things like this, not only academics. So some schools have done this. I've seen some examples of good international schools already have done things like this, and they would bring a guest speaker talking about values, religion, respect, and things like this, in order to introduce this to the system.
So sir, your answer led me to another question. What's the role of the media in order to help the students to have a positive attitude towards the school?
We need in the media, for example, for the kids, we need good educational programs that teaches manners, values, not only education, not only how to do stuff.
Not just for entertainment.
Yeah, it's also has some values. We lack this. I do not see a channel that teaches values and norms and how to be a good person, how to respect others, how to respect elders. This is very important, and we lack this very much in the media.
Okay.
So is there, a specific challenge you would like to talk to us about concerning students and the new school year? Challenges they face, whether teachers, students, parents?
Okay. The real challenge with the kids at the beginning is we have to set a frame from the beginning for the kids how to start this new year. You have to set the rules clearly, because schools do this at the first day. Teachers say rules for the classroom, we do this. When you want to go to the restroom, we have to ask when,
permission,
and things like this. So parents have to do the same. Homework time will be from time like for example this to this, and we will have some time for entertainment or doing this during the day. So we have to set rules and frames from the early beginning clearly, when to sleep, and his duties as a child or as a student, what he should do. Things like this has to be clear from the beginning.
Yeah, you're right, sir.
Yeah.
Very well. Mr. Hussam Fahmy, Human Development Expert, thank you very much for joining us and for sharing with us, of course, your opinion on that topic. And that brings us to the end of this segment. And now we're going to go to some light news.